and on that, the multimedia stuff, Dan, it's been a hot topic. In a few hours, another episode will drop, and I'll be subjecting myself to another episode of She-Hulk, good or bad.
Oh, really?
You
Tonight?
you did say, yeah. Thursday morning. Yeah, it'll be Thursday morning. So it's like yeah. Okay. It'll be midnight my time. I don't know what time it drops, or 3 a.m.
We're in the same time zone.
So. Okay, so I think it's 3 a.m. our time zone. I think it's what it is. Anyway, it's Thursday at the freaking crack of dawn. She-Hulk episode 2 will drop. I'm in the minority of the Uber fans of not hating on it as much as many of the others have, particularly because the little rant that Jennifer Walters has in the episode went viral because it was very woke and it was very, it was woman-splaining and lecturing him and all that. And I'm like, but overall, I thought the episode was less woke than I expected, less objectionable than some of the other Marvel content, and it's episode 1. Everyone acts like this is like episode 6, and I'm like, wait a minute, she may have a story arc. Can we at least give them a chance to do it wrong before we pile on? This is different than my reaction to Kenobi, because right out of the gate of Kenobi, they created like canon problems. They created problems with the timeline. Like, if this happens, this can't happen. If this happens, that can't happen. So my objection to Kenobi was different. First off, let's just start with your general impression of the She-Hulk episode 1 before we get into some of the more.
I thought it's not great. It's not like great entertainment. It's like watching a sitcom or something. It's something you just sort of watch, and it's kind of cute. I thought it was kind of funny. I saw that, some of that stuff. But here's the thing: is they're saying, oh, she's not a good, she's not like, they're criticizing her for not being heroic from the start. But that's what a lot of stories start: the reluctant hero, and they don't want to be a hero, and then they become a hero. That seems okay to me. She's playing. Here's another thing that she's kind of playing a little bit of that feminist thing, but some feminist characters are fine. The problem is, I think I mentioned this to you, and just in the email, I said it's when they all are super strong females. It's like then you're being preached to. But She-Hulk, it seems to me to scream to want to be a feminist hero. Now some of the problem in the comics, though, is they've completely abandoned all the sex appeal of the She-Hulk.
Yes.
That was part of She-Hulk, was sex appeal. If you do that, then you will lose the male audience, because the guys want to hear about they want to read a heroic character. She can be a strong female, but she's got to be attractive. I mean, even the guys are attractive. I mean, look at all the hunk guys and Captain America and Thor and stuff. That's
Mark Ruffalo's on the low end. Mark Ruffalo's more like us, mostly. I mean, I'm not trying to. He looks better than me, but at least he's a little closer to the scale than some of these other guys are. They're way out of my game. And
my wife likes to go to the Thor movie. Like, that's the one she's like, I'll go, and I'm like, yeah.
They would fight over my screener passes back in the day, Dan. It was crazy having the daughter be sad because I only had like one. I only had a +1 for a screener and stuff like that. We'd have to go Thursday night again, so I'd have to see it again, good or bad, just because. So I really couldn't agree more. I feel like, and I said it briefly, and I know they were going for Ally McBeal. I don't think it's nearly as good as Ally McBeal in episode 1. However, I get more of that 90s vibe. Let her be. Look, her being a witchy woman in episode 1 is not the problem. I did have a problem with the origin change. I thought that was really bad. I didn't like the origin change, like, at all. It totally does degrade Hulk. She saves him, that kind of stuff. But a lot of it was just very generic. I thought it was fine because, I don't know, I just felt like it was like, it's sort of feminism, but it's not as crazy as some of the other stuff is, even though I can see it is sort of a cousin to the other stuff. Like, I'm not blind. It's just,
but it's done in the tongue-in-cheek kind of way.
I felt like it was. I felt like it wasn't as off-putting.
I didn't feel like I was being preached to. I felt like this was an actual character. And so that's what I think you would say that you let it pass because it's the character. And
it's episode 1 too, right? So we don't, is she going to be like this in episode? Look, okay. So I did a review of this. It's a Paramount Plus show, and it's called Honor Society. And I compared it to a Hulu show called Not Okay. They're both not particularly watchable because they're extremely leftist woke in their essence. Kind of unlikable elements to a female character. And in Not Okay, I'm convinced at the end she's not that significantly different than the beginning of the film. Like, it's just not a good film because there's no real change to her character. She had this massive opportunity to become a different person, but then the pieces that are there don't make you think that. And then in the other one, I at least think the main character changed some. There's a really bad element to the way the movie ends, but she at least seems like she changed. With She-Hulk, I'm like, okay, so she starts off witchy. She's kind of bitter. She's jaded. She's been through some stuff. And I got to be honest, I still work in corporate America. Some men are douchebags, and a lot of corporate America have a lot of men that are in control and maybe treating women, at least they feel like they're being treated inferior. And some of those elements are there. And yeah, she can be reasonably strong. She can be kind of athletic. None of that was really that big of an issue, but let's just see where it goes. Yeah. So I think we both agreed, like, we can see it. Look, I basically gave it, like, it's kind of in the middle of the road for me. It's that, you know, it's like a five or a 6. Why does everything have to be an 8, 9, 10 or a 1 or a 2? Nothing can be in the middle anymore. Like, everyone reacts on these crazy extremes. Like, it's just kind of in the middle. It's just generic. I don't know.
You know what I actually had a little problem with was, why didn't he let her go when she wanted to go? Like, when she wanted to leave the island. Yeah. Because she was trying to just leave and he was trying to stop her. And then they end up with that big fight, which is a cool fight. I mean, you know, it's just, yeah, sometimes you just want to watch people smash stuff around, the Hulks, you know. So I thought that some of that stuff was pretty fun and cute, you know. The little yoga thing, that was cute, you know. That's just fun stuff. It's not.
He threw the rock at the end to show how much stronger he was. And you kind of, like, that wasn't shown in the trailer. And I think that was a good element because it shows us, look, the Hulk is way stronger than her. And he knows he's stronger than her.
Right.
Let's calm down a little bit with. I think a lot of the objection episode 1 is headcanon, stuff in our heads. And I do say that we can't go into things where it's in a vacuum because we do know they have goals and motivations and agendas. But we also can try to objectively evaluate it. And I don't think it's as off-putting as most people reacted to, but I also don't think it's good and a great representation of feminism. I thought it would. She's a horrible character. Jennifer Walters is not a likable character yet. Good. Yeah. She-Hulk or not She-Hulk, she's not a likable character yet. I agree with you, though. The biggest thing for me is the fourth wall stuff. They seem like they're missing that because it was always directed. First off, in Sensational She-Hulk 1, it was directed on the cover, literally on the cover, to John Byrne. Like, literally says, "This is our second chance. Let's not mess this one up, okay?" Like, literally, that's on the cover of Sensational She-Hulk number 1 of, like, Bubbles. Like, this is my second shot at having my own comic book. How about you not mess this up, mister? And then that part is missing because she doesn't treat the audience. I would have rather her fourth wall speeches be more like, okay, listen, I know you're watching, and I know that you may not like some of these other shows, but I'd really like you to, like, we have to keep the ratings up if you want to keep looking at me. If you want to see, you know, she has to be more engaged of, like, who the audience really is instead of just this weird vagueness. I want her to be more jovial about it.
Yeah. So and we'll see. And you know, if they did the kind of sex appeal they did in the comic books, I think that wouldn't fly for Disney.
I wish she'd just come out of the shower with a towel on and she's just talking to us with this, like, this sexy stuff is, like, off camera, but it's sexy enough, and all the men are glued to their TV hoping that they'll get a little shot of something, right? And that's what you have to bait them along, just like network television did.
Yeah, like I just said, like the men are attractive, the women are attractive. That's part of comics. Superman, Superwomen, entertainment. I remember, what was it? The Captain Marvel lady. She was you know, being criticized and stuff, and then she came on some talk show and she just had huge cleavage showing. You could see all the guys are just like, man, she's not so bad now. It's like
Dan, you know, we're pretty easy. You know? He almost said the 4-letter word because we don't talk about her name. I can't stand her. Just so we're completely clear. So, let's see. Monkey Jeebus is going to apply at a comic shop to get a job Tuesdays and weekends. How about Wednesdays and weekends? You have better odds. Just so you know, Wednesdays is a busy day. Jacob Ironsides here. Hey, my friend, if you have a question for Dan or comments, feel free to throw them in. It's all the hypocrisy within the show that many object to, plus altering the origin. Well, I definitely agree with the latter, as I said. The hypocrisy in the show, I don't feel like James has really been flushed out very much yet. And the reaction is more like a reaction to the whole Marvel universe, not the show itself. I think that's what Dan was saying, too.
Yeah. Do you get the feeling, too, though, with the YouTube channels and stuff like that? They're against pretty much everything. I mean,
it's a drug. It's a drug because that gets clicks. Like, so my Kenobi video, people people thought I was like, I don't want to say acting, because literally it's me face palming. I literally left work, filmed the video before my drive home, so I would have it done before I saw anyone else's stuff. Because I didn't want to. I try to do my video as green's a horrible pun with the She-Hulk conversation, as in a bubble as I possibly can. And I was so upset about it because I'm such a fan of the original Star Wars, and I had my issues with it. But I didn't hate on it the same way because it was different the rest of the way. I don't want to run a hate channel. Actually, the only reason I've been doing all these Indian, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these Indian cinema films that have come out in the last couple of years. I got turned on to them by accident. Now I'm down the rabbit hole, and so many of them are so good. It's shocking, Dan. They can tell stories. Like, it's incredible how good some of this content is. Oh yeah. You and I can talk about it more later. So let's get through chat. So, Monkey Jeebus is with us. She-Hulk is fine. It was like the comic books. I'm not sure I agree with the latter part.
It reminded me of the comics though, because She-Hulk was kind of a, she's very, I don't know. It sort of, first off, it kind of looks like John Byrne's She-Hulk. Her face, I thought a lot of people think she doesn't look that good, but when she becomes She-Hulk, she looks like the John Byrne face to me.
I thought she was pretty as She-Hulk. She's not sexy enough, but she was pretty. Like, she's okay. They don't play it up as sexy, I think the difference. But okay, James, I agree. I understand that they don't mean it. They're not playing it for laughs. They mean it. I think that they don't have a good sense of humor right now. Our whole culture doesn't. So that's part of that problem. But
yeah, they're all afraid of it. They're terrified. Everyone's afraid of it.
Yeah, you can't. So just to tease, on my Talk Hard show, which is Tuesday nights, we purposely try to find things that would offend everyone. So next week we're doing Johnny Dangerously. We're going to do Blazing Saddles. So yeah, we're going to purposely try to find things just to continue to remind people of humor. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, the way it used to be, here's the thing: is you make a joke, and it actually helps the situation because it relieves the tension of like in Blazing Saddles, all that racial jokes in there. That just everybody can laugh at it, and you can just kind of and you have a good chuckle, and then it sort of. I don't know. I think it brings people, grounds people a little better.
Well, you have to be able to laugh at the worst elements, and if you can't laugh at yourself, then something's seriously wrong.
Right.
It was like going back to what we grew up on, right? You have like Richard Pryor dropping the N-bomb, every which way. You had George Carlin who got into everyone's face about every single thing and stuff like. It was a way to diffuse what's got everybody so bent out of shape. And now you feel like
what about
so rare.
What about World War II, where they did characters and funny characters of Hitler? It wasn't that they were belittling the threat; they were making fun of it, and that's sometimes making fun of something is the greatest derision you can do to somebody. I mean, like that's why the political cartoons are like that. They have these they have a silly face, and you kind of can all laugh at it.
Dan is teeing them up for me tonight. Dan, have you heard of this? It's called The Fuhrer and the Tramp. No. I did a little interview with the creators. The premise was, and he was motivated by when the North Korean dictator, Kim Jong-un, put a hit out on Seth Rogen because of that dictator movie that he did, right?
Really?
So they joked. Yeah, that actually happened. Wow. And then he joked, they'll say, well, what if Hitler tried to kill Charlie Chaplin? Like, a contemporary. So the entire premise was,
okay, because the mocking of the
it is so good. It is. They did such a great job of tying in like historical stuff and things like that. So I did a little. It was shown to me as like a kind of a show and tell night where someone said, "I bet you haven't seen this one, Pops," and I'm like, "Well, nope, I haven't actually." And then I said, and the creators were like, "We'll come on with you," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I have to get a copy of the book," so I had to get a copy and read it. But yeah, they explained all this stuff to me. It's fantastic. Same kind of thing. It's comedy. It really is.
People need to lighten up.
Monkey Jeebus. Okay, I'm not sure She-Hulk is better. Hulk is. It's just they're different. They're not the same, and the show sets up a little element of why they're not the same. But I agree with what James said earlier. I didn't care about the origin change, and we'll see how it kind of continues to play out. So
yeah. Plus, you know what? You have to be realistic. If you're going to enjoy anything today, you got to understand the creators are going to be, not agreeing with everything you agree with. And sometimes you have to just suspend that and just enjoy the entertainment. It reminds me of that. There's a lot of people that don't like that. I think it was Godzilla and King Kong movie, and I liked it just because it was just bashing the crap out of each other. It was just, you know what I mean? Like,
if I had a criticism, it was like all the humans are the problem with this movie. Can we just see? My problem with the criticism of Godzilla versus King Kong was I just want more of them and less of the humans. Like I just want more.
I could
have
just watched a reel of special effects of those guys battling each other. So I mean, but sometimes, like I said, my expectations are not very high when I go into this. Like the Game of Thrones thing that's coming now, and everyone hated the last season of that, and I watched it and I thought, I kind of liked it, and I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm just not. If they take a character and they like they did with Luke Skywalker, making him kind of that hermit thing, I thought, well, that's not what I wanted to see, but that is a story. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'll just accept a story and just say, okay, it's not what I want to see, but this is their story that they told and they wanted to tell it, and I just roll. I roll. In other words, I don't.
So chill, rolls with the punches. I'm like a YouTuber.
Well,
we get bent out of shape as nerds. Dan's so much more chill. He's a Zen model for me because I can't stay that way, especially not with the.
Well, there are ones that get to me though.
Yes,
and the ones when they preach, like I watched, and they could ruin the whole film for me because like the latest Batman film, everyone liked that, but that one scene where Catwoman said, all these white, woke white people.
Oh, the white privilege.
I mean, all these privileged white people. And I was just like, and Batman was standing right there. He didn't correct it.
Didn't say a thing. He's a white dude in a suit. She can see he's a white dude in a suit. Who probably has to be wealthy to be doing this.
Yeah,
I know.
And they just let that go. And that's where I'm just like, you just put those things in. And they did the same thing in Spider-Man Far From Home, where they had the Electro made a speech to one of the Spider-Mans. And he just sort of accepted it too, and that's the stuff that I really get annoyed by. It's not if you change the character or do something to the character. It's when you try to preach to me something about whatever environment or whatever the thing is they got their political agenda is.
Did Falcon and Winter Soldier honk you off?
Huh?
Falcon and Winter Soldier, the way it ended with the speech about you got to do better, Senator.
Oh, I didn't watch that series.
Oh yeah. It's actually it's actually one of the. If I had to rank them, it's one of the ones that's more tolerable until that episode. Episode, everything, the train comes off the tracks. Falcon lecturing the white people. It's insane. It becomes completely nuts too. But.
Yeah. See, that. Here's the problem though. Is I didn't see that episode because my expectations are so low.
Right
now that I really don't go see these things. If I wait for I watched No Way Home like a year later. I watched it just so happened I saw She-Hulk just because I just the family was watching it and I thought I'll just check it out.